Hey there, fellow social media marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Paris. And today we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons of social media campaigns, because we know social media campaigns can really help our business. There's a lot of things it can do, but sometimes there's some hiccups along the way that we need to look out for. So I kind of want to give you the good and the bad of social media campaigns so you know how to be more successful when you run your next social media campaign. And I think one of the best things, the biggest pros you can think about when you're looking at social media campaigns is you can really target the audience you really want. It is not a guessing game. It is not, I hope someone drives by my billboard on the highway. I hope somebody picks up that magazine. I hope somebody's watching that TV channel at that time and not going to the bathroom. No, no, no. When it comes to social media campaigns, you really are targeting the exact people you want, because the Facebooks and the YouTubes and all these things, they give you the user data, so you really can dive in deep and just get, I want to get 18 to 25-year-olds that live in this part of the city and are liking this kind of soda. Like, they can really target it really well so you can get that niche, which is fantastic because then your money's going to the right audience. And so you can get those niches by age, by demographics, by location, all kinds of things. And that's really, really helpful. Now, another pro of social media campaigns is you get real-time feedback. I mean, you're posting, people are commenting. You ever notice that little dot goes by? It goes, oh, someone's typing in there now. Someone's responding in there now. You get it right away. You can see if things are working or not working. If you see there's lots and lots of comments on here, this got people talking. Oh, this one's getting a lot of downvotes. What did we do wrong? What's going on there? You have that really instant feedback so you can see and you can change really quickly because you're seeing, this is working, this isn't working, and we can test things out that way, and it's going to be so helpful because that live feedback can really help where people are asking questions and then you can interact back and forth, because sometimes you don't understand someone's question or something can get lost. This way you can kind of follow up, and that's really helpful in these social media campaigns, just gaining all that extra information, the questions from your fans, things that they're having issues with, you can learn from, and if they're really happy about things, you can see what it is. Like, this is what our fans are really happy about. Maybe we can make new posts about their happiness, because you can really learn from your fans and you learn from your customers in ways you didn't know. Like, I never thought about using our product in that way, but that's a good idea. So that's what's cool. That really live interaction that you have, that instantaneous feedback, can really give you a lot, so you can learn a lot. That's why you want to make sure you're watching your campaigns. You don't just shoot it out there and let it go. You shoot it out there and then you watch what happens. Those likes, dislikes, views, subscribers, buys, sells, all kinds of stuff. That's going to be a super cool thing about social media campaigns. Now, for my non-marketing friends, maybe the people in the financial office or the accounting office, another really good pro when it comes to social media campaigns, it's cost effective. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. How many times have you been on Instagram or Facebook and they're like, hey, would you like to boost this post? And it's not like the Super Bowl where they're asking for $5-6 million for you to boost it. No, like, hey, $5 to boost this post, $50 to get this to 1,000 people. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot to get to a lot of people when it's on there, so you can have a very affordable campaign when you're doing these social media campaigns, especially if you're doing paid traffic. That can be super helpful. And think about it, if you can have it targeted, who you really want, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, instead of me advertising to everybody in Paris, I can advertise just for the people in the Montmartre region, or like neighborhood that I'm in right now. I can just advertise to them, and that's going to be much more effective than advertising to all of Paris. And so therefore, I'm not wasting advertising money. I'm really focusing on that people really want, and we don't have to waste much. So that's a nice thing that my accounting friends really like. Now, another pro when it comes to social media campaigns is just the engagement we can get. Now, you remember that real-time feedback we talked about before? Kind of continuation of that. Another nice thing about social media, campaigns, it really helps you engage. Like, you can really engage with your customers. You can get them talking to you, interacting with them, and learning a lot from them. And the thing is, you can end up having your own clients making content for you, helping spread the word out there. Because think about it, you can have stuff that goes viral. I mean, Wendy's, when they got popular again like 10, 15 years ago, part of it was based on Wendy's spicy Twitter feed that would be like making fun of people and stuff. That really helped to kind of put things beyond. It made it beyond burgers. It made it, hey, it's Wendy's is something I'm going to talk about outside of eating. And of course, that helped people want to go to Wendy's, because of that discussion. So that can help. But think about the viral engagement you can get. Think about maybe it's a restaurant here in Paris. If all of a sudden it gets a viral thing on TikTok, they can have lines out the door. So these things can really help. And that user-generated content that can come from social media campaigns where you're helping people share their story using your products and services, that can really help. I mean, think about it. The Ice Bucket channels, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You know, years ago, people think like, what, Lou Gehrig's disease? What is that? Nobody really knew. Like, unless you were really touched by it or you had a family member that had it. But they did a really great job of getting it out there and getting people to dump buckets of ice on their friends and themselves to help raise money and awareness. They raised over $100 million for the cause, which is awesome. So there's things you can do that social media campaign can really boost. Because the campaign, when you run it correctly and everything goes well, it is a fantastic thing because the word gets out, you're getting new fans, you're getting this engagement, you're learning so much, sales are going up. That's the whole idea behind these social media campaigns. They can be very pro and very helpful. But the thing is, sometimes your social media campaigns, sometimes things don't go quite as planned. So it's a good idea to have an idea of what those possible hiccups are so you can kind of plan for them or try to make sure they don't happen. And one of the biggest cons when it comes to social media campaigns is the algorithm. Whether it's Google, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whatever, the algorithm kind of decides the success of your social media campaign, because sometimes when you're doing your social media campaign, you want to have organic traffic. You want to make your own kind of things. You want things to go big that way. But sometimes, you know, if you ever notice, if you're on Facebook, you don't, I mean, well, if you're younger, you probably are, but if you're an older part like me, you remember when you were on Facebook before, you'd post a picture of your food and it get 500 likes from all your friends. Now you post a picture of food and it gets like 20 and none of your friends saw it. You're like, what happened? Like, oh, boost your post so more of your people can see it. You're sometimes fighting against the algorithm and these platforms that want to make people pay to get these posts being seen. And that can be very frustrating. So sometimes the algorithm may just think, you know what, your meme isn't cool enough. Your video isn't good enough. We're not going to make it go big. We're not going to help it go big. And that's kind of very much a like heartbreaking kind of thing, because you could have the greatest meme ever, but the algorithm's like, no, never mind, we're going to promote this. And that's kind of frustrating. And now another thing you need to look out for when you're doing these social media campaigns are negative comments and trolls. Because here's the thing, you're talking about your product, you're talking about your service. You're like, hey, I'm just talking about my widget I'm selling. And eventually there'll be somebody that'll get on there that get really upset. Oh, why would someone spend money on this widget when they could be spending on something else? And you'll get people that turn very negative. Like, I have a number of channels. Like, people will go very negative in some of my videos when it comes to like travel. And I'm talking about a toy and people like go psycho on these things. You're like, what's going on? And that negative commentary, those trolls on there can actually turn off your actual core fans, because they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with the comments section today. I don't want to see what people are saying. And it actually gets people to walk away from your campaign or walk away from your brand that had nothing to do with you. That's why if you're going to have these public, public things, make sure you're monitoring things. If it's okay, YouTube lets you ban people from your channel. Facebook can ban people from the channel. You make, well, we shouldn't ban people. You know what? If they're harassing people, if they're being very counterproductive. I mean, it's one thing if they're pointing out, like, you know what, their sandwich wasn't that good, but it's another thing when they're like, oh, they serve roach burgers and not real hamburgers. Yeah, those kind of people you want to get rid of, because it really can make the entire overall experience of visiting your Facebook page, YouTube videos, website, can really hurt it, okay? So that's a negative thing. People, sometimes they just suck, right? Now, another con that people don't really always think about when they're thinking about social media campaigns is just the amount of time and work it takes to have a successful social media campaign. Because when you see posts online, you see videos, you see posts, you're like, oh, they did that in 5 minutes. Oh, they did that really quickly. No, they didn't. Think about it. Your favorite videos where people are like, the same person's playing 3 different characters in the video. They have to change each time. They have to write the script out. They have to get all these things, get the camera position, make sure it's all there, follow all those things. It's a lot of work to do these things. It's not quick and simple, though it looks that way. And therefore, that's why when sometimes you start with these campaigns, people that don't work in social media think, oh, you can knock out 50 videos today, no big deal. No, you can't. The amount of time it takes writing the scripts, figuring out what it is, where the jokes are going to be, when the things are going to happen, when's the right time to film. Because literally, if I filmed this 2 hours ago, the sun's out there and you cannot see beautiful Paris behind me. It's just all, blanked out, right? So you have to think about this. And all that time and effort that goes into it, sometimes when the algorithm doesn't like you or things don't work, it gets very heartbreaking and very disheartening, I guess you'd say. And that's why sometimes, just the amount of time and effort that goes into it doesn't always correlate to the success, and that can be a big con when it comes to social media campaigns. Now, the next con when it comes to social media campaigns is something I've seen a lot over the years, and it's been one of those things you don't even mean to happen, but sometimes it does happen, and that's just the overall risk of miscommunication. Like, people might not get your joke. Here's the thing, if you use a lot of sarcasm works if you see me talking and I'm like, you know what I mean? Huh? Like, you can catch the sarcasm. But when it's written out, or it's in other languages that sarcasm sometimes doesn't translate, and people can take things the wrong way. And then your idea of trying to be a funny, happy-go-lucky post turns into a nightmare in terms of, your publicity kind of stuff and your PR relations. I mean, I know I did a video on like the bad TikTok travel hacks, right? And one of the things I was talking about, the people that fake having disabilities so they can get the wheelchairs, so they can go to the front of the line and they can go to the front of the security line, they can be taken right to the plane and all kinds of stuff. So I was going through like people that fake, the disabilities are jerks. But the thing is there's people that have what are called, it's called invisible disabilities, things you can't see. It's not that they like literally can't walk, it's just sometimes you have things like if you have a bad heart, you can't walk the 3 miles in the Atlanta airport to get to your, your gate. So you need to have a wheelchair, you need someone to help you. And the commenters with invisible disabilities were really upset with me. I'm like, I wasn't saying anything about that, but I didn't even realize it. And that's where things can go wrong, because that risk of miscommunication or people taking what you say in the wrong way, that can be, quite frustrating, but also really damaging to your brand. And so it's one of those things you have to think about when you're making those posts. You have to ask yourself, how could people take this wrong? How could this be going? And then you might want to adjust the content you make and the things you do in your social media campaign to kind of alleviate some of those possible risks of miscommunication, all right? Now, here's the thing. There's a lot more pros, there's a lot more cons when it comes to social media campaigns. I just want to give you a few of them to get you started so you have these in your mind when you're developing your campaign, so you don't have some of these hiccups and you can take advantage of all that engagement you get, so you can learn a lot and do better and keep improving your social media campaign as it goes. Because you know what? What's cool about social media, you can constantly change things as you go based on the data you get. Anyway, I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from a beautiful evening here in Paris, France.